Welcome to CityWise. I'm your host, Tiana Stevens. CityWise is produced by the City of Rochester to shine a spotlight on city living at its best. Mayor Lovely Warren was joined by city and state leaders at a groundbreaking ceremony to mark the start of an $8 million renovation project at the City of Rochester's public market. Of course, Market Manager Jim Farr was on hand, as well as Evan Lowenstein, Communications and Special Events Coordinator at the City of Rochester Public Market. We're happy to have you guys on today to talk about all the upgrades and the summer events schedule.
Hi, Tiana.
Thanks for coming. So a lot of changes, including a new logo. What's the new logo like, and how are people responding to that so far?
Good. You know, it was time for us to freshen up the old logo. The old logo was actually created by an engineering company during one of our earlier renovations at the market, so it's fitting that we replace it with a new logo now.
And what were the objectives when you set out to plan for the renovations? What were you hoping to accomplish?
Well, it really started as a project to redo the indoor space, the space we call the winter shed at the market. And if you've been in there, you know that it could use some upgrades, and it was really not built for the uses that are in there now. It had, we had meat and fish and a lot of different things in there. It was really designed just for a spot for farmers and produce vendors to be in the winter months. So it had outlived its, usefulness, and also the food kiosks there needed some upgrading, and so they could meet current standards and codes. So it started as that, but then we had the idea that we wanted to make sure we could keep the market operating through the whole project, so we had to work on ways to phase it. So we decided, well, we'll need another shed to put some vendors in, to put the winter shed vendors in while we're redoing that, and we also needed more vending space, so that seemed to make sense. And then we ended up going through a whole master planning process. So it's been a 6 or 8 year journey between the master planning and the whole thing to really get it into where we're finally broke ground last week. But it's a lot, there's a lot of people that have worked hard and helped us with financing, and city council and several mayors, and Mayor Warren finally got us over the final hump to get it started. But I think people are going to see a lot of really positive changes, and they're also, like I said, we'll be open throughout the whole project, and there may be some, you watch for the web if there's any changes in traffic patterns or things, you just check the website.
And Evan, construction has already started, in fact, and it's the first phase of construction. What's the timeline going to be like?
Well, we anticipate the project on the whole will take between 16 and 18 months to complete. And the first phase is some utility and paving work and the construction of a new outdoor covered shed that's actually a replica of an original shed that was built for the original market in 1904, but was demolished in the 1960s. So our plan is to put a historically accurate replica of that shed really close to its original footprint. And so it honors the past and the history of the market, but it's also a practical project in that it will create more vending space at the market for those who really would like to get in at the market to vend their wares. So that's the first phase. And then after that, our current indoor shed vendors will actually be moved into the new outdoor covered shed, a little complicated, which will be temporarily enclosed for them as they're used to being indoors. Then once they move into the temporarily enclosed new outdoor covered shed, the current indoor shed will be demolished and replaced with a new structure. So in addition to that, we're also, as Jim mentioned, rebuilding the very popular, famous food stands at the market in superior structures, and then really all of those phases combined about a year and a half.
And there's some green initiatives too going on with use of storage crates.
Shipping containers.
Shipping containers.
Yeah, one of the things, we have to relocate the restaurants during the construction project, so we were going back and forth. At one time we were thinking about building buying food trucks for them to be in during the actual renovation project. And then actually I was in New York City after Hurricane Sandy came through, and they were doing a lot in lower Manhattan with shipping containers with some pop-up retail to get the businesses back operating. I said, boy, that's a perfect solution for what we want to do at the market, because we can put them in there as a temporary home, and then you just pick them up with a crane and move them and put them in. And there's a lot of it going on all around the world. It's really, and they can be individualized, so we don't want to lose that, the charm that they have now. So they're all choosing colors and choosing, they're going to have, they can cut windows wherever they want them. And they're also going to have some covered space in front of them that can be enclosed in the wintertime, so they have some more protected space for the customers like they have now. So they're excited. It's been a long process for the food kiosk vendors and the winter shed vendors too. You know, for them it's a big change, and because of the way government works and funding streams works, we've been talking, like I said, about this forever. So they've been, you know, I think some of them thought it would never really happen. So everybody's excited. It's going to be great.
What's the public reaction been to the renderings? Look great, by the way. What are people saying?
I think that overwhelmingly positive about the really there's renovations, but there's also additions, and I think the majority, I would say the super majority, are excited about what's coming. There have been some expressions of concern because there's so much love and devotion for the market, and people care about it so much that the coming changes a source of some apprehension for some market devotees. And so we've carefully explained that the process from start to finish has been to meet the needs of the market in the future in terms of infrastructure and space, but also maintain the character of the market that's so important to us, as well as most of the people who go there. It's not just an economic experience, it's a cultural experience, and it's really a classic, iconic public place in our community. So maintaining and even improving the character of the market has been paramount from the beginning. In fact, we feel like the new indoor building that we're building is going to be more architecturally harmonious with the existing market, with brick and glass construction, than the existing concrete structure, which was built in the 1970s. And with the new outdoor covered shed is really a replica of the original that was built in 1904. So there's practical elements to this project. We need more space. We want to welcome more vendors. We need to upgrade a facility. Anything that's been used this intensively for as long as it has, 110 years, needs a little TLC. So it's really a combination of honoring the past and the history and the character of the market, but being ready for the future.
Sure. And nice weather is here finally, and Memorial Day weekend just around the corner. Flower City Days at the Market is coming. What happens at Flower City Days?
Well, I always tell people it's the largest collection of growers and horticultural vendors in Western New York, and we usually have over 100 vendors selling everything from bedding plants to shrubs to garden accessories. So we'll have the Cornell Cooperative Extension Master Gardeners there to answer questions on Sundays. So it's 5 Sundays, starting Mother's Day and going till June 5th, as well as the entire Memorial Day weekend. We'll be open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So like 6 days in a row. For some of the days we'll have a mixture, but the non-regular market days will just be horticultural and plants those days too. We actually had the Flower City Days going on since 1989 at the market, and the first year when we started it, we actually had to pay the vendors to come there. We had 12 vendors, and we had to pay them $50 each to come on a Sunday, because they said nobody would ever come to the market on a Sunday. And you know, we'll have well over 100 vendors, but over 300 vending stalls, you know, taken up, because many of them take multiple stalls. So it's a great experience, and it's interesting. It's a whole different demographic than you get on Saturdays at the market. It's you know, the market like changes over on Sundays, and it's still very diverse, but it's just a different feel to it.
And then, Evan, we have garage sales at the market. Was something new this year?
Community garage sales, you would know, Jim, it's been going on for
17
or 18 years. It's really a feast for the senses, certainly in a different way than Flower City Days. But we market it as a place to take in dozens of garage sales in one place at one time. Save yourself the driving around town. Just come to community garage sales. And pretty much anything and everything you could imagine at a garage sale, you'll find at ours. We have over 100 vendors routinely on our Sunday garage sales. And so people go looking for something specific, but some people also go hoping to find a treasure they didn't even know existed. And so this year, and we've done this in the past, but we're rolling it out again in the spirit of the Antiques Roadshow, where we have a fellow in town who's willing to come out and provide verbal appraisals of different potential treasures that people may have in their attics or basements, and they can bring them to a Sunday community garage sale and get a quick review by an expert about what it may or may not be worth. And that we're doing that twice this year on, I think, June 19th and July 3rd, so for 2 of our garage sales.
Okay, great. And finally, Jim, a quick pitch for food truck rodeo and bands on the bricks.
Yeah, food truck rodeos are just, exploding. We added 2 this year. We went from 7 to 9, so we'll be the last Wednesday of every month from April through October. And July and August will actually be the second and the last Wednesday, so we'll have 9 of them this summer. The first one in April, even though it was a chilly night, was a huge crowd. It was exciting. There's 5 or 6 new trucks that are operating in the city now, and they made their debut at some of them at the food truck rodeo. So that, was great. I keep saying we'll ride the wave as long as we can. It's a great one for us, and it's great for the food truck operators. And it's just, people like it because it's just a simple event. It's it's local food, local music, and local beer, and that's all you need. That's perfect night out.
It's really become a family affair too. I noticed that more and more families with small kids are coming to food truck rodeos and laying out their blankets, and kids in wagons, and kids filling their faces with mac and cheese, and it really become a family event as well, which is, of course, we like to see.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. Again, the City of Rochester Public Market is located at 280 North Union Street, and for hours and special events listing, you can always visit cityofrochester.gov/publicmarket or call 585-428-6907. Famed abolitionist, Underground Railroad conductor, U.S. Army spy, Civil War nurse, humanitarian, suffragist, and soon to be the face of the $20 bill, Harriet Tubman is known by many titles and names, but to one Rochester resident, she's simply Aunt Harriet. City 12 manager and producer Tej Jenkins and WXXI senior editor Joanne Gordon had the opportunity to meet Miss Geraldine Copes Daniels, and she's the focus of our Cultural Expressions report.
She's traveled to Ghana, Africa, and participated in a ribbon cutting to unveil the largest statue in the world of Harriet Tubman, located in Harlem, New York. There is a picture of the statue in the church vestibule on the Harriet Tubman's ministry bulletin board. Another thing you may not know about Sister Daniels is that she has a lovely singing voice. I present to you Miss Geraldine Daniels.
Hello. I don't know what to say now. My name is Geraldine Copes Daniels. I'm the youngest of 5 children. I have one sister alive, and she's 5 years older than me. Harriet Tubman was a great aunt of mine. She was the conductor of the Underground Railroad. Everybody, black and white, called her Aunt Harriet, but I didn't know that she was my real aunt. I wasn't told till I was in my late 20s. I went to my Aunt Elida's house, and I was helping her get out some Christmas cards, and I was putting them in envelopes and addressing the envelopes. And she said, "Did you know that Harriet Tubman was your great aunt?" And I said, "No, I didn't know that. I didn't know she was a relative." She says, "She's your real aunt." I'm going to tell you a little bit about Aunt Harriet. When she was in Auburn, she lived out at the Tubman home there, which is now a museum. I started storytelling because I was overwhelmed by the stories that was told to me. And my sister, she started before me. And when I seen her and how she did it, I started doing the same thing. And Harriet was born our mentor. They called her Little Minty. And they did not realize that she was going to be this woman that she is today. And we are, as a family, going to try to keep her name alive. It's not just a fiction. It's a story that really happened.